I'm back. I'm building Beskar armor. Beskar? Anyway, I'm building that armor. And it's in the shot. I can't look at it yet. Yeah, so I forgot to do an intro. So the armor is behind me all built. Not the whole thing, but a few parts and the helmet. And I'll show you guys how I got that to that point. Man, I'm so out of practice here. I feel so awkward. I can't even look at you in the face. That's why I'm wearing glasses. Anyways, it's stealth from Heroes Workshop, and I forgot that too. You can see how rusty I am. But yeah, I'm building Mandalorian armor. I don't know why I dragged the A. It was a great show. Reignited my love for Star Wars, which wasn't there before. So I don't know how I could reignite something if you don't love it. Anyways, I digress. I'm doing this intro now because I forgot, so here's the video. Also, wait, if you want to build your own Mandalorian armor, I have files on heroesworkshop.com. And if you're new to Pepakura and foam, I have a video that I made. It's very in-depth. It's like 2 hours long. It's on my channel already. It'll teach you the basics of applying those Pepakura templates to foam, and you can build cool stuff like I usually do on my channel when I'm here. But I'm building this full armor. You'll see. Trust me. Or else I wouldn't be wearing this hat. This is my 2010 Stealth Serious cosplay building hat. It's back. Is there anything else I gotta do for the intro before I forget? Yeah, I don't even care anymore. I'm not even doing takes and all this cuts and stuff. I'm just going off the cuff from now on. Hope you like it. Let's go. This is not the way. And why I say this is the helmet's too big. So when I was building it, I noticed it was a little too big, but I just kept building it just to finish up all some of the parts, so that way I could see how they went together, so that way the next time I build it, there's no guesswork. But yeah, look at this thing. Boba Fett. Okay, so I'm still cutting out the parts here on the second helmet, the proper fitting one. So I just want to show you guys the visor material I'm going to be using. It's one of those sun visor hat things. I've already removed the headband part. You can get this on Amazon. I left a link in the description so you can get one of your own. They're pretty cheap, a lot cheaper than those safety visors a lot of people use for those Mandalorian helmets. Okay, so what I did was I already kind of traced the visor shape on here. I tried to line it up as close as possible. I just traced the outline carefully, and then I made a border around the outline. That will be the area where I actually put the glue on and then stick it on the interior. So I'll just build the rest of the helmet and then I'll show you later on how the visor goes in. Okay, so I'm back at this point here. I made new templates and I traced them out, cut them out, and all that, put it on the foam. I actually edited the model, so when you guys get the model and download it, it'll have all the adjustments and it should be easier to put together. Okay, so I built the new helmet. This one fits a lot better. Fits me perfectly. Right now it's looking like those things from those Reapers from Blade 2. Okay, so the next part's done. Side details. Simply just cut them out, glued them on, offset this little piece here. This is a little bit higher than this. And that's pretty much it. Just stuck them on. Easy enough. Okay, so the helmet's built. before you can seal the helmet before paint, I'm going to sand down all the seams that you see on the dome here. So that being said, I'm just going to sand the seams down with my palm sander with 120 grit sandpaper. Then I'm going to go over the seams again with 240 and then quick seal, sand the quick seal lightly, and then use the sealer, and then I can paint it. Sounds good. Let's go. Okay, so the helmet's all sanded. There's some rough areas from the sanding. Even though I use 240, it's like really smooth even for 240 on foam. But I don't feel the seams hardly as much. Before I seal it, I'm gonna heat seal, also slash heat heal. Heat heal meaning like there's a lot of roughness and the heat will kind of heal the foam and close up all the little bumps. Like, it's not gonna do it like perfect, but it'll reduce it a lot. So you just take a heat gun like I always do and just go over all the areas that you sanded and even the other spots of the helmet, just to give it a uniform kind of heat seal before we actually seal it with the sealer solution. Remember to always keep the heat gun moving so you don't burn the foam. Okay, so now that I heat sealed, heat healed, I like to call it, I'm just going to use the quick seal, like I said, and just fill all those little imperfections. And then sand that quick seal lightly, and then we can seal and get ready for paint. Okay, so the helmet's ready to seal. I have my PVA glue mixture mixed with water. I think the ratio is like 2 to 1. 2 parts glue, 1 part water. But you can play with that ratio for the consistency that you like. And we have a foam brush. I find foam brushes better for doing this versus a bristle brush. Bristle is going to leave streaks. This does a pretty good job of reducing those streaks. And then just simply take the mixture and just put it on the helmet. I always put just 1 coat, seems to be enough. And it should be good. That's gross. Alright, give me some airtime. See my face. Uncle Handsome's back. I'm just kidding. I heard The Rock say that the other day. I've been trying to find a good spot to get light, but this shop sucks. But anyways, yeah, what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, somebody the other day was like, "Hey Stealth, how do I support your channel?" And I'm like, well, okay, no one really asked me that, but if you want to support Heroes Workshop, hit like, subscribe, set notifications, comment, do all that stuff. You know, usually YouTubers, they put that in the middle of the video, but sometimes I always forget. So I just usually just save it to the end, but for some reason they do it in the middle. Hit like, do all that stuff. I'll just wait here. Just do it. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe too. I'm watching. I can hear it. See? Okay, so I sprayed the helmet with the floor wax. It's all dry. Looks really good. I never used this before on painted foam, and it looks fantastic. Looks really good. It looks a lot better in person, actually. Looks really shiny. And I guess I'll do this for the rest of the armor. Okay, so I'm just mixing this black acrylic, like I said, and I mix it with water in this cup. And it just needs to be like a watery consistency, because you don't want it to be too thick or it's going to actually stick too much. And it'll be hard to wipe off. Okay, I'm just going to try it in this area here and hope for the best, like this whole section here. I'm trying not to go on too much on the surface, because then it's going to be so dull. I usually just go over the whole helmet when I do weathering like this, but this one's really, I gotta be really careful with this one. I just want it to run where the actual grime would actually go into somewhere, some of these areas. If you want to take off some, just remember, just use some water before it dries. You can kind of subtract. Okay, so all the weathering is done, and the helmet still looks shiny, so I didn't ruin it. Hooray! And I've seen it in the show, it does get pretty dirty. But also, you know, like I said, I didn't want to kill the shine. So, all in all, turned out nice. I know it works for next time. Okay, so I'm building the shoulders right now, and I'm getting a lot of people asking me about my helmet. I posted some pictures on Instagram and Facebook. So they're like, oh, how do you get rid of the seams? It's just something that I always do basically in every video, if you haven't caught any of the other ones on my channel, and or actually the in-depth Pepakura foam tutorials. Like, I do it in there too. I just reduce the seams by taping up all the seams on the template. And then you guys saw me on the helmet. I just kind of squished it down, and then I just traced it out. A lot of people, like, I remember initially I started doing it, they didn't think it would work, but it's just like you're just subtracting, and then when you put it on like a styrofoam ball or something and you heat it up, you're adding after, because you're stretching it, so you're getting that curve back. So any kind of size that you lost, you're basically going in reverse and you're bringing that back. So I have the section of the shoulder that had all the seams that I closed up. I used packing tape just to put them all in the areas. I put some on the back too. So just remember, be careful because they are going to open up a little bit when you're squeezing down. But it's okay, even if they open up a tiny bit, doesn't matter because you are going to stretch the foam after. Okay, so these are all taped up. Okay, so you just squish it down. Be sure to avoid the seams splitting open. Be careful. Even if they do a little bit, don't worry. Press the interior, like the center, more so. So just to get that area flat, you can see. I keep my hand on it and then just trace. It'll give you the shape, kind of like a squished version of it before you heat shape it and stretch it again. You just flip it inside out to the other side. And you do the other side of the shoulder area. Okay. Use a heat gun. Use something to form it on. Just press over the ball. So it basically has copied the shape of the template with the seams all taped up. So I'll do that to the other piece, and then I'm going to assemble the rest of the shoulder. Okay, one more thing before I assemble. I had to redo these because I added this lip. It's another thing that I usually do on my builds. Also check out the peppercore foam tutorial for all these kind of tidbits of information, and you'll see what I mean. This is all based on the peppercore designer, how things kind of like sit on each other. Okay, so I didn't have a lip on this, and I was like, rats, because I don't want to like do like too much offset gluing with a chance it'll like separate. So usually I add like a lip, so that way things can sit on top like that. You just glue like that. Makes it a lot easier to glue. That's pretty much it. Just want to let you guys know, in case you guys are gonna wonder, hey, how come it looks different from the last shot? Okay, so anyway, I just got that, get that out of the way, and now I'm gonna start assembling. Okay, so here are the parts for the Mandalorian Beskar armor on the mannequin. It's looking really nice and proportionate. Shoulders look good proportion to the helmet and the chest. There's something with the shoulders that I just mocked up temporarily. It's I put like a piece of foam. You can see in the series when he's walking forward in pictures too, the shoulders are a bit elevated. They're not like flush to his body. I think they did it so it doesn't conflict with the chest so much, so it leaves a nice gap when it's raised up. So I'm probably going to use these templates and just use some thicker foam and glue it right to the back, so when I'm wearing the shoulder it just sits naturally higher. Okay, so I'm building the forearm part next. It's the one with the rocket. So a tip for this when you're measuring the scale, and you can use this tip for anything you're building really. So sometimes you can actually assemble the paper parts temporarily using masking tape. Don't use packing tape. Use a masking tape so you can separate it, it won't rip. So you assemble the main base, you can see that, and you just put it on and you see if you like the scale. So the hand plate will be here, so probably go back a bit. That's actually a perfect scale, I like that a lot. So right now I'm just going to build the base of this forearm, and then I'm going to build up all the details. Okay, so I put the forearms on the mannequin. You can see with the rest of the parts, looks really good. I'm really happy with the proportions. They fit me really well. Like all these parts fit me perfectly. So whatever you're seeing on the mannequin will reflect back on me when I'm actually wearing the costume. I even put the gloves on with that extra piece of pipe I was talking about in the other video. The extra piece of pipe in the wrist on the mannequin. Yeah, I can't stop looking at this. It's getting really cool to see it build up on the mannequin. It's really motivating. So like builds are so fun when you have like a full mannequin like this and you start putting parts on. Okay, stop. Alright, here is the Mandalorian. All the parts on the mandolin. On the mandolin? The mandolin. On the mannequin. Forms and everything. Everything looks really good. Everything looks really proportionate. Man, I'm so excited to paint this thing and weather it and finish it up and wear it. For just a warm-up project, this thing was such a good choice. Like, seeing this on the mannequin is so exciting. I can't wait to wear this. Okay, so all the parts have been sealed and they're ready for primer and paint. I didn't show the sealing process because it's the same process that I did for the helmet. It'll be the same process for this, but a little bit more involved because there's different shades and some other kind of weathering effects that I need to do with some of the parts, especially the thighs and the shins. So all the other parts I'm painting silver will basically look like this. We'll have a finish similar to the helmet, and the weathering will be similar as well. So to prime it, usually I use this. It's a Vallejo surface primer, but I don't really have too much, so I'm gonna have to use something else. Okay, so I'm gonna be using this gesso as a primer layer. I'm just gonna water it down and tint it. I tested the gesso on one of the hand plates after I sealed it, and it turned out okay. There's a lot of brush strokes because I had to brush it on. I didn't want to spray it on yet. I wanted to test it, so I'm gonna respray it with the gesso, and it should cover all those brush lines. So let's get on with this, and I'll stop rambling. How about that? Yeah. How about that? Yeah. So the silver is all painted on the parts. Still doesn't have that shine like the helmet because I still need to do the floor wax, but I'll do that once everything is finished. I pre-mixed the colors for the rest of the parts. There's some browns for the shins. There's some blue for the side plates and the stomach. some tan, kind of sand color for the hand plates. And this black's going to be for, that black paint is for this. I'm going to do some masking on the silver areas and the battle damage, so that way they don't get covered in the black paint. And then I can peel the silver off later. And there's another tone of brown somewhere around here, like a reddish brown, which I'll do. Yeah, so it's always good to pre-mix your colors because it's annoying for me to do it later and having to stop and start. Better just to do it and kind of watch a movie or something while I mix these up. And then just go one after the other. so all the parts are done. They're painted, weathered, I added lights. Oh yeah, this belt is from Amazon. It's a Jedi belt that I modified. I had to get two, one for over the chest and then one for his actual belt. And then I just added those things there that I showed you. Oh, and the buckle, I replaced the buckle that came with it, and I put a 3-inch buckle, and then I added some aluminum tape just to give it a shiny surface. I didn't really want to paint that because it's going to get scratched all the time. Okay, so I have this coverall here. I also got on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. It's a very nice color. It'll work out nicely. It fits me really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mr. Mannequin here, and I'm going to just put the bodysuit on him and just start fitting the parts on the mannequin, and we'll have a cool one-to-one display. Okay, so the Mandalorian armor is complete. Considering it's all built in EVA foam, I'm pretty proud of it. I think it turned out really nice. So if you guys want to see me build more things, remember to like this video, subscribe to Heroes Workshop. So remember to set notifications, it's very important, so that way you guys never miss a video. Remember to comment down below. I try to reply to all comments. Actually, I think I reply to almost every comment anybody makes. But sometimes I miss the replies because it doesn't give me a notification. But sometimes I go back. I try to reply to all you guys. I appreciate you guys watching so much. All the things needed to build this armor is linked below. This is Stealth from Heroes Workshop, and you'll definitely be seeing me soon in a new armor project build. Trying to do it all cool. Yes! This is the way.